6 months after the pandemic, Jun had become the most famous human in the Confederation. Earth was now sending doctors and medical researchers to worlds across the galaxy. Human medical techniques, once feared as primitive, were being taught in Confederation medical schools. Jun was working in his lab on the Hope's knife when Taiho arrived with a strange expression on his face. "Jun, you need to see this," he said, handing over a datapad. The message was short. The Emperor of the Scourge Empire requests the human Dr. Jun Kim's assistance with a medical matter of highest importance. Jun stared at the screen. "This is a joke, right?" "It's real," Taiho said. "Verified by our intelligence networks. Why would the Scourge Emperor ask for me? We're at war with them. According to our sources, the Emperor is dying from an unknown illness. Their doctors can't help him." Minji, who had been listening, shook her head. "It's obviously a trap." "Probably," Taiho agreed. "The Confederation Council has already refused the request." Jun thought about it. What if it's not a trap? What if he really is sick? Even if he is, why help the leader of our enemy? Minji asked. Jun looked at the message again. "Because I'm a doctor. I took an oath to heal, not to choose who deserves healing." Despite strong objections from the Confederation Council, Jun made his decision. 3 days later, he boarded a special neutral ship that would take him to the Scourge homeworld. "This is the craziest thing you've ever done," Minji said as she joined him on the ship. "You don't have to come," Jun told her. "Yes, I do. Someone has to keep you alive." The journey took 5 days. When they arrived, they were escorted by armed guards to the Imperial Palace, a massive structure of black metal and red crystal. The Emperor's personal physician met them at the entrance to the royal chambers, a tall, thin scourge with deep purple skin instead of the usual red. "The Emperor suffers from cellular breakdown," the physician explained. "Our medicine cannot stop it." Inside the chamber, the Scourge Emperor lay on a large bed. His skin, normally bright red, was dull and covered with dark spots. He looked at Jun with glowing yellow eyes. "So this is the human doctor the galaxy speaks of," the Emperor said weakly. "You are smaller than I expected." Jun approached and scanned the Emperor with his medical devices. With Minji's help, he analyzed the results. "This looks similar to human cancer," Jun explained. "Cells growing out of control. Can you treat it?" the Emperor asked. "I think so. We'll need to adapt human treatments for your biology." For 3 days, Jun and Minji worked tirelessly, creating custom medications and treatments. They adapted human chemotherapy to target the Emperor's mutated cells. The treatment worked. By the 4th day, the Emperor's condition had improved dramatically. "You have done what our best doctors could not," the Emperor told Jun. "The Scourge Empire owes you a debt." That night, as Jun and Minji prepared to leave, they overheard guards outside their room. "The human has the knowledge we need," one said. "The Emperor orders them captured, not released." Minji looked at Jun in alarm. "I told you it was a trap." "We need to leave now," Jun said. He quickly wrote down the complete treatment protocol and left it on the table. They barely escaped, sneaking to the landing bay and stealing a small ship. As they fled the Scourge homeworld, pursuit ships followed. Just as capture seemed certain, Confederation warships appeared, led by Taiho. Minji had secretly called for help. "You left the treatment protocol behind," Minji said as they escaped. "Why help them after they betrayed you?" "Because I'm a doctor first," Jun replied. "The Emperor was my patient, even if he is my enemy." Taiho looked at Jun with new respect. "You know, sometimes your compassion is scarier than your scalpel." Dr. Jun Kim wiped the sweat from his brow as he stepped away from the operating table. Another life saved. The young woman had arrived with internal bleeding after a car crash, and most doctors would have called it hopeless. But not Jun. Never Jun. "Surgery complete. Patient stable," he announced to his team. The nurses nodded with respect. In Seoul's busiest hospital, Dr. Kim was a legend. As June washed his hands, his watch beeped. A message appeared. "Dr. Kim, please report to the director's office immediately." Strange, he thought. He had 3 more surgeries scheduled today. The hospital director wasn't alone. 2 people in odd, shimmering suits stood beside her desk. Their clothes seemed to shift colors slightly, like oil on water. "Dr. Kim," the director said, her voice unusually formal. "These visitors have come specifically for you." The taller visitor stepped forward. "Dr. Jun Kim. I am Taho Park, medical liaison for Earth to the Galactic Confederation." Jun blinked. "The what?" "The Galactic Confederation," Taho repeated calmly. "Humanity joined 5 years ago, though the public doesn't know yet. Only key government officials and certain specialists are informed." June looked at the hospital director, who nodded grimly. "Why are you here?" June asked. "There is a medical crisis spreading across 12 systems and 27 species," said Taho. "The Confederation's standard protocols are failing. They need fresh approaches." The second visitor spoke up. "Earth's medical practices are different from the rest of the galaxy. Some call them primitive, others call them brutal." She smiled slightly. "But they work when nothing else does." "We need you, Dr. Kim," Taho said. "Your emergency trauma techniques are exactly what the Confederation needs right now." June laughed. "This is a joke, right?" Taho touched a small device on his wrist. The office disappeared. Suddenly, they stood on what looked like a bridge of a massive ship. Strange beings with too many limbs or eyes worked at stations around them. Through a giant window, Jun saw Earth from space. Just as quickly, they were back in the office. "Not a joke," Taho said. "That was the medical flagship Healer's Grace *, currently in orbit. You have been drafted, Dr. Kim. Earth's government has already approved." Drafted. June felt anger rising. "I have patients here, responsibilities. People are dying by the millions out there," the woman said quietly. "Species we've never even met are being wiped out before we can say hello." June fell silent. He became a doctor to save lives. Could he really say no when the need was this great? "How long?" he finally asked. "We don't know," Taho admitted. "The assignment is open-ended." June thought of his empty apartment. His parents were gone. No wife, no children. His life was this hospital. And now, apparently, the stars. "Can I bring anything?" Taho nodded. "Limited personal items. And this." He handed June a small silver cube. "This is MEDI, a medical eye with Earth's complete medical database." The cube glowed blue. "Hello, Dr. Kim," a pleasant voice said. "I look forward to assisting you." "You leave in 6 hours," the woman said. "Pack light. The Confederation provides all equipment." June looked out the window at the familiar Seoul skyline. By tomorrow, he would see it from space. Then, who knows? "One more thing," Taho added as they turned to leave. "Many species out there think humans are primitive, violent, and barely civilized. They only accepted our help because they're desperate. So I'll be unwelcome." Taho smiled grimly. "Oh, they'll welcome your help, but they'll fear your methods." He extended his hand. "Welcome to the Confederation Medical Corps, Dr. Kim. Try not to scare them too much on your first day." June took the offered hand, still not fully believing what was happening. The woman smiled. "Don't worry. They'll learn to love you eventually, after they fear you first." 5 years passed since June's escape from the Scourge homeworld. Much had changed in the galaxy. On a beautiful morning, June stood at the window of his office, looking out at the interspecies medical academy he and Minji had built. Students from over 100 worlds walked the grounds. Some had tentacles, others wings or crystal bodies. All came to learn human medical techniques alongside Confederation methods. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Minji said as she entered. Now his wife of 2 years, she directed the Academy's research division. "I never imagined this when I left Earth," June admitted. Dr. Kim, to emergency briefing, announced the Academy's communication system. Urgent situation. In the briefing room, Taiho waited with several Confederation officials. His once black hair was now streaked with gray. "We have a crisis," Taiho said. "A spatial anomaly has appeared near the Veldar homeworld. 3 passenger ships were caught in it. Thousands injured, with injuries we've never seen before." "What kind of injuries?" June asked. "People partially phased out of normal space. Body parts existing in multiple dimensions. Nothing in our medical texts covers this." June nodded. "Prepare my ship. And contact all graduates of our special trauma program." Within hours, June's medical ship, now named Humanity's Hope *, arrived at the disaster site. The scene was chaotic. Victims with impossible injuries filled emergency medical stations. June took command naturally. Team 1, handle phase displacement injuries. Team 2, dimensional fractures. Team 3, time dilation syndrome. Doctors of all species followed his orders without question. Many had been his students. They combined human emergency techniques with advanced alien technology. As June worked to save a child whose body existed in 2 dimensions at once, he noticed a group of observers watching. Among them stood a familiar figure, the Scourge Emperor, now recovered from his illness. When the emergency stabilized, the Emperor approached. "Dr. Kim," he said formally, "the Scourge Empire has come to offer assistance." June was suspicious. "Why would you help?" "Because you helped me when you had every reason not to," the Emperor replied. "That day changed my understanding of humans. You could have let me die. Instead, you saved my life, then left the cure even when we betrayed you." June noticed the Emperor was not alone. Behind him stood Scourge medical personnel, ready to assist. "5 years ago, I saw humans as primitive," the Emperor continued. "Now I see you were simply taking different paths to the same goal, preserving life." The Emperor handed June an official document. "The Scourge Empire requests peace talks with the Confederation. We ask that you, the human who treats all life as worthy, serve as mediator." Later that night, as the crisis subsided, June and Minji sat together in his office. "Peace," Minji said, looking at the Emperor's document. "After all these years of war." "Medicine brought it," June replied. "Not weapons. They feared your methods at first," Minji remembered. "The cutting, the drugs, the pain. They still fear them," June said with a small smile. "But they've learned that sometimes healing requires difficult choices. Sometimes you must cause small pain to prevent greater suffering." Through the window, they could see hundreds of doctors from dozens of species working together seamlessly. Human emergency techniques blended with alien technology. Scourge doctors worked alongside Confederation medics. "From feared to respected," Minji said. "Not bad for a primitive human doctor." June watched a young Veldar doctor use a technique he had taught her to save a Scourge child. The universe had changed and medicine had led the way. In the end, June said quietly, "The universe learned what human doctors have always known, that life is precious, no matter whose life it is. And that's a lesson worth teaching, even to the stars." 3 weeks passed. June learned quickly about alien biology and Confederation medical technology. Some tools seemed like magic. Devices that could scan entire bodies in seconds or heal small wounds with a beam of light. But for serious cases, the aliens often seemed lost. One morning, alarms blared louder than ever before. "All medical personnel to emergency stations. Battlefield casualties incoming." Taiho rushed into June's quarters. "The Scourge Empire attacked one of our outposts. Hundreds wounded. You're being sent to the frontline medical station." "Me? Why?" "Because you're good with hopeless cases," Taiho said grimly. "And there will be many." 1 hour later, June was on a medical transport ship heading toward the battle zone. Beside him sat a small woman with short black hair. Dr. Minji Lee. She introduced herself. Human xenobiologist. Another human. Jun was surprised. I thought we were rare out here. We are. But they need me to help you understand alien biology. She smiled. I've been out here 5 years. It's different. The ship landed with a thud. When the doors opened, chaos greeted them. A makeshift medical camp was set up on a dusty planet. Wounded aliens of all types were being carried in faster than the medical teams could handle. This way, Minji said, leading Jun to a large tent. Inside, alien doctors worked frantically. But Jun could see they were overwhelmed. Many wounded lay untreated. A blue-skinned doctor Jun recognized from the ship approach. Human. Good. We have too many critical cases. How are you prioritizing patients? Jun asked, looking around. The doctor seemed confused. By rank and species recovery potential, of course. Jun shook his head. That's not how triage works. Show me your worst cases first, regardless of rank. But that's not protocol. Your protocol is letting patients die, Jun said firmly. He turned to Minji. I need you to tell me vital signs for each species. What's normal? What's dangerous? Together, they moved through the tent, checking patients. Jun quickly set up a color system. Red tags for immediate care, yellow for those who could wait, green for minor injuries, black for those beyond help. You can't declare patients beyond help. The blue doctor protested when Jun marked a high-ranking officer with multiple limbs missing. I'm not giving up on them, Jun explained. But we treat those we can save first. For hours, Jun worked without rest. He used Confederation tools when they worked best, but often relied on basic procedures, stopping bleeding, clearing airways, setting bones. Primitive but effective, Minji commented as she assisted him. By the end of the day, Jun had treated 47 critical patients. 42 survived. The other medical teams combined had saved only 33. As Jun finally sat down to rest, a tall insect-like being approached him. Its mandibles clicked as it spoke. You saved my soldiers when others gave up, it said in a clicking voice. You caused them pain with your cutting and stitching. Jun tensed, unsure if this was an accusation. But they live, the insect commander continued. Pain passes, death does not. The commander made a strange gesture with its front limbs, a salute of some kind. The Karathi battle group will request human medics in future, it declared loudly enough for all to hear. They cut, they burn, they cause pain, but they bring life back from darkness. Jun noticed other alien soldiers watching him with new eyes, some with fear, but many with something like hope. Minji sat beside him. Congratulations, she whispered. You've just become the human butcher who brings back the dead. Is that good? Jun asked. Out here, it's better than good. She smiled. It's legend. The ship was bigger than anything Jun had ever seen. Hallways stretched for what seemed like miles. Beings of all shapes and sizes moved with purpose. Some had too many limbs. Others had strange skin colors. Blue, green, purple. Stay close, Tahoe said. The Asterisk Healers Grace Asterisk houses medical teams from over 30 worlds. Jun tried not to stare at a tall, thin creature with 4 arms and skin that looked like tree bark. That's a Veldar, Tahoe explained. They're master surgeons. Their extra limbs can operate on 4 areas at once. Then why do they need me? Jun asked. Because they refuse to cause pain, even to save a life. Their medical oaths are very strict. They reached a large door marked with a universal medical symbol, a circle with a line through it. Your quarters, Tahoe said. Rest. Tomorrow, I'll show you the medical bay. Inside, Jun found a small but comfortable room. The bed was oddly shaped but adjusted when he touched it. A window showed the stars outside, countless points of light. Jun placed MEDI, the AIQ, on a table. MEDI, are you there? The cube glowed. Yes, Dr. Kim. Would you like a briefing on the current medical crisis? Yes, please. A new disease is spreading across multiple species. It attacks the nervous system in different ways depending on the biology of each species. Confederation medicine has been unable to develop a cure that works for all affected beings. June sighed. And they think human medicine will help. Human medicine is considered primitive but effective. You develop treatments for many diseases without the advanced technology other species rely on. Great, June muttered. We're the galaxy's witch doctors. Morning came quickly. Tahoe took June to the main medical bay, a massive room with hundreds of beds, many filled with sick or injured beings. This is just one of 20 medical bays on this ship, Tahoe explained. Each specializes in different species groups. A group of doctors stood nearby, all wearing the same shimmering medical uniforms. None were human. These are your colleagues, Tahoe said. I should warn you, they're not all happy about working with a human. The tallest of the group, a blue-skinned being with silver eyes, approached. So this is the human healer. It looks so fragile. Dr. Kim is one of Earth's best trauma surgeons, Tahoe said firmly. The blue doctor made a sound like bells tinkling, apparently laughter. Trauma surgery. How primitive. We haven't cut into a patient in centuries. June started to reply, but alarms suddenly blared throughout the bay. Emergency, a voice announced. Diplomatic team returning with injuries. Level 1 priority. The medical team rushed toward the arrival bay. June followed, not sure what he could do. A small ship had docked. The door opened, and several beings stumbled out. One collapsed, a Veldar diplomat, his bark-like skin turning gray. Severe allergic reaction, one doctor announced, scanning the Veldar with a small device. We need to stabilize him. The team hesitated, discussing treatment options. The Veldar's breathing grew more labored. June pushed forward. He's going into anaphylactic shock. He needs treatment now. The blue doctor turned. We must follow protocol. The proper treatment sequence requires. June didn't wait. He grabbed a medical kit from the wall, found something that looked like an injector, and checked its contents with MEDI. This contains the Confederation equivalent of epinephrine. MEDI confirmed. June pushed past the shocked doctors and jabbed the injector into the Veldar's main trunk, right where MEDI indicated a major blood vessel was located. The alien doctors gasped in horror. The blue one shouted, "You can't just stab a patient." But seconds later, the Veldar's color improved. His breathing eased. Barbaric, the blue doctor said, though June noticed a hint of reluctant respect in those silver eyes. The Veldar looked at June with all four of his eyes. You saved me. Just doing my job, June replied. Tahoe appeared at his side. And that, ladies and gentlelings, is why we brought a human. 2 months after the battlefield success, June's name was known throughout the Confederation fleet. Some spoke it with respect, others with fear. Word spread of the human doctor who used primitive methods to save lives others had given up on. June was in the medical lab with Minji, studying alien tissue samples, when Tahoe rushed in. Emergency meeting, Tahoe said, his face grim. Now. In the command center, officers from various species gathered around a holographic display showing a small outpost station. Station K-12 sent a distress call 12 hours ago, explained a tall, thin commander. A disease broke out. All medical personnel are dead. The station is under strict quarantine. Images appeared. Bodies lying in corridors, strange black marks on their skin. What happened? June asked. Unknown pathogen, said a scientist with scaled skin. It killed the entire medical team within hours. The remaining crew are isolated in sealed sections. We need someone to go in, the commander continued. Find out what this disease is and how to stop it. The room fell silent. No one volunteered. I'll go, Jum said finally. Everyone turned to look at him. Are you insane? Minji whispered. You saw what it did to them. I'm a doctor, Jun said simply. This is why I'm here. I'm coming too, Minji declared. You'll need help understanding what you find. 6 hours later, their small medical ship docked with Station K-12. Wearing protective suits, they entered the silent station. Bodies lay everywhere. Most had black marks spreading from their eyes and mouths. NIMEDI, scan these marks, Jun instructed his AI companion. The black substance appears to be dead neural tissue, MEDI reported. The disease attacks and destroys neural pathways. Jun took samples from several bodies while Minji checked the station's medical logs. This is strange, she said. The disease killed everyone with advanced nervous systems, but the station cook, he was from a species with a simple nerve network. He survived for days longer than the others. This gave Jun an idea. What if the disease targets complex neural structures? That would explain why it hit the medical team first. Most medical species have highly developed brains. They worked through the night, examining samples in the station's lab. Minji suddenly looked up from her microscope. Jun, take off your helmet. What? That's crazy. Humans have different neural structures than most Confederation species, she explained. And look at this. She pointed to her findings. The virus can't attach to human nerve cells. We're immune. Cautiously, Jun removed his helmet. Hours passed. No symptoms appeared. We're safe, he confirmed. But we still need a cure for the others. With the freedom to work without the bulky suits, they made faster progress. Jun used human medical approaches, studying how the virus entered cells, testing various treatments. 3 days later, they had a treatment protocol that combined antiviral drugs with neural regeneration techniques. This isn't a perfect cure, Jun warned when they reported back to the Confederation. But it will stop the spread and help healing begin. As they prepared to leave the station, Minji made a disturbing discovery in the lab records. Jun, this wasn't natural. The virus was engineered to target specific neural patterns, the kind most advanced Confederation species have. Who would do that? Jun asked. The Scourge Empire, she said quietly. This was a bioweapon. As their ship departed, news spread throughout the Confederation. The human doctor had entered a death zone, found a cure, and emerged unharmed. Some called it a miracle. Others whispered that perhaps humans weren't as harmless as they seemed. After all, what kind of species could walk unharmed through a plague that killed the most advanced beings in the galaxy? News of Jun's actions behind enemy lines spread quickly. The story of how a human doctor stayed to save a diplomat, then offered help even to scourged soldiers, became legend. But Jun had little time to think about his growing fame. A new crisis was beginning. 3 months after the rescue mission, reports came from multiple worlds of a strange new disease. It started with simple symptoms: fatigue, fever, skin discoloration. Within days, victims suffered organ failure and death. Worst of all, the disease affected nearly every known species. It's spreading too fast. Tahoe told Jun during an emergency meeting on the Confederation flagship. Billions already infected across 20 systems. The Blue Doctor, now more respectful of Jun, added, our treatments slow it, but can't stop it. Each species requires different medicine. Jun thought carefully. Has anything like this happened on Earth? I've been researching that, Minji said. It resembles our pandemics, diseases that spread globally. How did Earth handle them? Asked the Confederation medical director. With vaccines and treatments, but also quarantines and tracking, Jun explained. And we shared information globally. We've tried sharing information, the director said, but different biologies need different cures. Jun had an idea. Maybe not. On Earth, we developed methods to teach the body to fight disease. What if we could make a treatment that helps each species fight in its own way? For days, Jun, Minji, and a team of the best Confederation scientists worked tirelessly. They studied how human vaccines worked and how they might be adapted for alien biology. Look at this, Jun said on the 5th day. Human antibodies can be modified to work in other species. But we'd need thousands of variations, objected the Blue Doctor. Not if we use this new Earth technology, Minji explained. mRNA treatments teach the body to make its own defenses. They created a prototype and tested it on tissue samples from different species. The results were promising, but the Confederation Medical Authority hesitated. This method is untested on a galactic scale. The medical director worried. We need more time. We don't have more time, Jun argued. Millions are dying every day. The director shook his head. We must follow proper protocols. Testing will take months. Jun made a difficult decision. That night, he sent their treatment protocol to every medical facility in Confederation space. He included detailed instructions for adapting it to each species. The medical authority was furious. You've violated our most sacred procedures. The director shouted when Jun was brought before the council. I violated procedures to save lives, Jun replied calmly. Isn't that what medicine is for? Reports began arriving from across the galaxy. The adapted treatments were working. Death rates were falling. A month later, Minji succeeded in creating a universal vaccine approach that could be quickly modified for any species. The pandemic began to recede. The medical authority called Jun in again. He expected punishment. Instead, the director seemed humbled. Your methods were unorthodox, the director admitted, but effective. The death toll would have been billions higher without your intervention. It wasn't just me, Jun insisted. It was human medical philosophy. Do whatever it takes to save lives. The director nodded slowly. Perhaps the Confederation has focused too much on comfortable medicine and not enough on effective medicine. As Jun left the meeting, Minji was waiting with news from Earth. They're sending more human doctors, she said excitedly. The Confederation has officially requested Earth's help in establishing new medical protocols. Jun smiled. From primitives to teachers in less than a year. That must be a record. They still fear our methods, Minji reminded him. But now they respect the results, Jun replied. That's a start. Word of the Station K-12 incident spread quickly. Jun became famous across the Confederation. Some saw him as a hero. Others feared him. How could a primitive human succeed where advanced aliens had failed? 1 month after the quarantine crisis, Jun received an official message. Report to Central Medical Authority. Ethics Tribunal hearing. What's an ethics tribunal? Jun asked Tahoe. It's not good, Tahoe said grimly. They question doctors whose methods are controversial. They're putting me on trial for saving lives. Jun couldn't believe it. For how you saved them, Minji explained. Many species find human medical practices disturbing. 2 days later, Jun stood before the tribunal. 7 stern-looking aliens seated at a high table. The room was filled with medical officials from across the Confederation. Dr. Jun Kim of Earth began the head judge, a tall being with golden skin. You are charged with practicing primitive medicine, causing unnecessary pain, and breaking Confederation medical protocols. Jun stepped forward. I save lives. That's all I do. By cutting into patients, by using drugs that cause pain, by deciding who to treat first based on injury rather than rank. The judge's voice rose. These methods violate our most sacred medical principles. But they work, Jun said simply. The Blue Dr. Jun had met on his first day stepped forward. The humans' methods are crude, yes, but I have witnessed the results. Patients who would have died under our protocols now live. At what cost? Asked another judge. Pain is considered worse than death in many cultures. Tahoe suddenly walked to the center of the room. May I speak? The judges nodded. I have served the Confederation for 15 years, Tahoe said. In that time, I've learned that our advanced medicine has forgotten something important. Sometimes, healing hurts. He displayed images of Jun's patients, all alive, all healing. Human medicine seems brutal because it doesn't hide from pain. Tahoe continued. Humans face suffering directly to overcome it. They don't fear it like we do. The room fell silent. June had never heard Taiho speak so passionately. A small, insect-like being rose from the audience. June recognized the Karathi commander from the battlefield. "My soldiers ask for the human doctor," the commander clicked. "They say, let him cut if it saves us. Are you wiser than those who face death?" More aliens stood. Patients June had saved, soldiers who had watched him work. The judges whispered among themselves. Finally, the head judge spoke. "Dr. Kim, your methods disturb us deeply, but we cannot ignore results." He paused. "You may continue your work, but under supervision. No procedures without approval from a Confederation doctor." June started to protest, but Minji touched his arm, warning him to accept. As they left the tribunal, Minji showed June something on her tablet. Hundreds of messages from across the galaxy, all requesting the human doctor for their medical crisis. "They may fear your methods," she said with a smile, "but they want your results." Later that night, Taiho visited June's quarters with news. "The ruling doesn't matter," Taiho said. "The military command has overruled the medical authority. You're being assigned directly to the fleet." "Why would they do that?" June asked. "Because you've proven something vital. In times of war, effectiveness matters more than comfort." Taiho handed June new orders. "You're being sent to the front lines again. A medical ship has been assigned to you." "My own ship. But I'm just one doctor." "A doctor the universe is beginning to believe in," Taiho said. "Some in fear, some in hope. But they're all watching you now." June's new medical ship, named Hope's Knife by its crew, had been operating near the front lines for 2 months. With Minji as his chief assistant, Jun had built a team that combined human medical practices with alien technology. Their success rate was the highest in the Confederation. One quiet evening, an urgent message arrived. "Diplomatic vessel Peaceful Exchange captured by Scourge forces. Multiple critical casualties. Rescue team preparing." Taiho appeared on the screen. "June, this is bad. The ship was carrying representatives from 6 different worlds. If they die in Scourge hands, it could shatter our alliance." "What do you need from me?" "The rescue team needs a medical officer, someone who can work fast, with minimal equipment, in hostile territory." June understood immediately. "When do we leave?" "It's extremely dangerous," Taiho warned. "The Scourge don't take prisoners, especially humans." "I'm going," June said firmly. Minji stepped forward. "Then I'm going too. You'll need help with the different species." 6 hours later, they boarded a small, unmarked ship with a team of Confederation Special Forces. The commander, a reptilian being named Vex, briefed them. "We'll slip past their outer defenses and dock at an emergency port. You'll have 30 minutes to stabilize the wounded before we must leave." The plan seemed simple. It wasn't. Their ship took damage breaking through the Scourge blockade. When they finally docked with the captured diplomatic vessel, alarms were already blaring. "They know we're here," Vex hissed. "We have 15 minutes, not 30. Inside the diplomatic ship, they found chaos. 6 diplomats lay badly wounded in the main chamber. Some had been tortured for information. June assessed them quickly. 3 critical, 3 stable. "We need to move fast." He and Minji worked with practiced efficiency. One diplomat, a crystalline being, had deep cracks running through its core. Another, a water-based life form, was leaking vital fluids. The third, a being made of living metal, had been partially melted. "I've never treated these species before," June whispered to Minji. "I'll guide you," she promised. "Trust your instincts." June used emergency patches on the crystal being, special liquid compounds for the water diplomat, and cooling treatments for the metal one. They worked desperately as the minutes ticked by. "Time's up," Vex shouted from the doorway. "Scourge troops approaching." 2 more minutes, June insisted. "The metal diplomat isn't stable yet. Leave now, or we all die." June looked at his patients. Take the stable ones. Minji, go with them. What? No. I need to finish here. I'll find another way out. Vex and his team reluctantly evacuated with 5 of the diplomats, leaving June alone with the metal being, who was still critical. As June worked, the door burst open. Scourge soldiers, tall, armored beings with glowing red eyes, stormed in, weapons raised. June didn't look up. He continued working on the diplomat. The Scourge commander barked something in a harsh language. He's asking what you're doing. Translated the metal diplomat weakly. Tell him I'm saving your life, Jun said calmly, despite his racing heart, and ask if any of his soldiers need medical help. When this was translated, the Scourge troops looked at each other in confusion. Their commander approached, watching as Jun completed the stabilization procedure. You are enemy, the commander said in broken Confederation language. Why help? Jun finally looked up. I'm a doctor. I help everyone. The commander studied Jun for a long moment. Then, to Jun's shock, he lowered his weapon. Human doctor different, he said. Others say humans primitive, violent. But you help enemy. Suddenly, explosions rocked the ship. Minji had returned with reinforcements. In the chaos, the Scourge commander made a surprising choice. Instead of killing Jun, he pointed to an escape route. Go, he ordered. Tell others. Scourge not all monsters. As Jun escaped with the metal diplomat, he realized something important. Medicine could build bridges even in war. Sometimes, showing mercy to your enemy was the most feared weapon of all.